Seeing where our politics are today, seeing where we're going, what would you say would be a strategy to try to reverse the trend?
Hmm. Well, oh, I mean, we're in such a difficult situation now. I had a lot of hope for Bernie Sanders. I was excited by Bernie Sanders, but I always knew he was a long shot. I mean, from day one, I think everybody knew that. Uh, but he has shown that there's a way out of this situation. We've got, on the one hand, we've got Trump, who's kind of frightening and crazy, and then on the other hand, we have Hillary, who's uninspiring and is going to change nothing. I mean, she as good as says this, right? She'll come up with another program, right? Whatever it is. But other than that, no, nothing is going to change. She's very happy with the way things are. She says she's against NAFTA now, but you watch. She doesn't mean that. Everyone knows it. She's nothing is going to change, and this is deeply frustrating to me. But I think that now I understand. I think we all understand why this is. There is a huge part of the American public whose voices are just tuned out, and it's working people. We bring them back into the process, and automatically things will start to go back in the other direction.
We actually have some great questions from some of the viewers. I would love to ask just all my questions, but we like to include some of our viewers into the conversation. So let me ask one of these questions here. I think the last one I asked was a question from them as well, just to point that out. But a question here is, what do you think about the people that are doing the Bernie or bust, or people who are just trying to shake off being a captive constituency?
Well, I mean, I understand their motive. And every 4 years, or every 8 years, it's the same thing. And people are, once you commit to a candidacy like Bernie's, and you're really into it, and and you've gone to the rallies and this kind of thing, it is very hard to realize that that you're probably going to be stuck with Hillary Clinton. I'm so sorry to say that, but I mean, this is the name of the game. The game itself makes me so angry, But we are stuck with it right now. We're stuck in it, We are captives that is the problem. Look, you don't want me to go on my whole thing about third parties?
Well, actually, one of the questions actually was a third party. I am of the firm belief that we have to make the Democrats compete for the left.
Yeah.
If they don't compete for the left, if they have a monopoly on it, we're stuck, and they have the power in the relationship.
Oh, by the way, and that's you saying we have no power in the relationship is exactly right. Because have you ever looked at the way they treat the left? And I'm talking about guys like Rahm Emanuel here. I mean, or who was Obama's first press secretary. Remember the incredibly contemptuous things they would say about people on the left. I mean, unbelievable things, because it's a kind of psychological relationship that they have with us. It's an abusive relationship. And they don't like it when you say, no, Democrats, we don't want you to do that. We want this guy over here instead of the person that you've chosen for us. And they go crazy. That makes them, but they go crazy in a very predictable way, and it's an abusive way. They act like they are entitled to our vote. That's what they think. It's like, how dare you? Say you're going to vote for somebody else. It's utterly contemptuous. Whereas you look at the right, or the Republican Party, I should say, and they live in fear of the right wing, terror. That the right wing is going to primary them, or is going to do something mean to them, or it's this opposite relationship with them.
How do you think we can actually change the nature of that relationship?
Well, I think going with Bernie, that was a strong challenge to the Clinton wing of the party. That is the first thing that has to happen, and I'm glad that happened. But there need to be challenges all up and down the ticket. That has to happen everywhere, and at some point you have to build outside of the the DNC kind of orthodox party. But to get back to third party, I love third parties, and in the 19th, well, I don't love them anymore, but in the 19th century, there used to be third parties all the time. And when the two parties would ignore some problem, you'd have a third party that would spring up and challenge them. The classic example is the slavery issue. The two main parties ignored it. The Republicans grabbed that issue and broke the two-party system apart, and are a enormously successful party. Okay, and then you had another example in the 1890s where the two parties are ignoring what we today call inequality, but what you call back then, the Gilded Age, the industrial problems. Every monopoly, inequality, the rich, the 10%, the 1%, whatever you want to call it. Everything is going wrong, in this society. So you had the populist party that sprang up all over the West and the South. And they got absorbed into the Democratic Party. They were huge in my home state of Kansas. They were kind of a farmer labor sort of party, and they were big in Kansas. They were big all over the place. And what happened though after populism died down, the two parties passed laws in every state except for a handful. In almost every state, they passed laws making the techniques that third parties used to use illegal. So the things that third parties used to do in the 19th century are now illegal. And that's why you can't have a robust, party system, because third parties are an important part of it, and now they're off the table. Because if you set one up now, you wind up as Ralph Nader. You wind up being a spoiler. Or you have to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you said something very, very important. They have power, and they actually change the laws to kind of negate or limit challenges from the left, so they don't have to deal with it. They sort of create a monopoly.
Yeah,
so
they have a
right?
Monopoly is the word. Yes, they have a monopoly, and it is enshrined in law. It's the most amazing thing, and it's de facto enshrined in law. Let me put it that way. It's a little more complicated than what I'm saying right now.
Ballot access being chief among it, right?
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it. Yeah, but you can't. So what they used to do in the 19th century is the third party would join forces with one of the main parties. Like in Kansas, the Democrats were just a tiny little party, and so the populists joined forces with them and were able to win. And in the South, they joined forces with the Republicans, who were the smaller of the two main parties. And that's against the law now. And so the big problem with the third party is the spoiler problem. You don't want to ruin the candidate closer to you. So, but the old law, in the old way they used to do this, you could get around that problem. You can't anymore. That's all I'm saying, and that's made it very difficult. This is a long-winded way of saying that you basically have to work within the system now.
I completely understand. When you said an abusive relationship, I remember Benjamin Dixon. This is his channel. This is his basically the platform here at the Progressive Army. He speaks about the relationship with the Democratic Party as a progressive, as an abusive relationship.
Yeah,
and they want
that's exactly right.
But they don't want to give us anything, and they think that basically that the power's on their side and they can do whatever they want, and you've got no choice.
That's right. They are entitled to your vote.
Yes. If Hillary Clinton doesn't win election, it will be Bernie Sanders' supporters' fault.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's not her fault.
It turns
it's yours.
I told someone else it's like turning accountability upside down.
Yeah.